Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Elliot, I'm ADEY's National Training Manager. I'm joined with Colin today, ADEY's Head of Training. Colin, how you doing?
Hi Elliot, good to see you buddy. Are you keeping well?
Very well, thanks.
Good, yeah, I'm really looking forward to today's session, Elliot.
Good. Well, we're here today to discuss how we can reduce energy bills and save your customers money with the ADEY best practice.
Okay, so look, let's start with the first question I want to know is, why is water quality so important, Elliot?
So water quality is by far the #1 cause of boiler breakdown. In fact, 80% of all boiler breakdowns in the first 5 years are actually caused by sludge, which that surprised me a bit, to be honest, Cole.
I'm going to say that sounds quite huge, doesn't it? But I'd say obviously when you think about it, and a lot of engineers out there today are going to be thinking, hang on a minute, that seems high, but actually have a think about it. You know, wow, everything we get involved with,
absolutely,
and our components, and our circulators, interesting one. But okay, so if we get this water quality right, who's going to benefit from it then, Elliot?
So most of us are either homeowners, Cole, or you know, we rent a property, but ultimately most of us pay a gas bill, and as you know, they've gone up a little bit lately.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah,
so if you arrive at a property or your property at home has got poor water quality, and we can get that water quality right, that could save up to 7% on your gas bill. Not only that, up to 7% on carbon emissions as well. So it's a massive benefit for homeowners for a start.
Okay, cool. So for me then, so if the customer can save money, absolutely. I'm interested also, I suppose, what are manufacturers thinking? What about boiler manufacturers? Are they keen on this water quality or not?
So, as you know, Cole, like I said earlier, most boilers are breaking down because of bad water. So ultimately, it's not the boiler's fault that they're breaking down. It's actually the water running through that boiler that's the problem more often than not. So most boiler manufacturer warranties out there obviously don't cover for sludge, because why would they? It's not their fault. So if we can prevent this, it's going to give peace of mind to the installer that's fitted the boiler, and peace of mind to the homeowner to make sure their warranty is actually valid. It may say 10 years, but if we're not keeping on top of the water quality, you haven't got a warranty ultimately.
Yeah, fair enough. I can understand that. So, okay then. How are we going to get this in the right place then, Alex? So tell us then, what's the best way to control our water quality? So
at ADEY, we've created the ADEY best practice, and essentially it's 4 really simple steps that if you follow these steps, you're going to ensure that your testing the system is #1. So testing, you're cleaning the system, you're protecting the system, and we're maintaining the system. If we can do those 4 things, we can keep that boiler running and ensure that system stays clean for its life. Good.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to challenge you. Then let's start then. So you're telling me I want to test the system. So when you test the system, what do you mean? Tell me, how am I going to do it then?
Well, I'm going to put my hands up for a start, because we didn't mention this, but Colin and I are both ex-heating engineers ourselves, and I'm going to put my hands up. I never did a water test. I'd go to the property, I'd service a boiler, I'd check the condensate trap, I'd check the heat exchanger, that do the gas analysis, everything right, but I wouldn't never think to actually break a water connection and see what's going on inside. So what we've got here is the ADEY Pro Check. What the Pro Check will do, it'll give you and your homeowner, Colin, a result on site for inhibitor, corrosion and pH. So it's going to give you that instant result. You know what's going on in the system. There are 3 key drivers for good or bad water quality. So if we can keep on top of those 3 things and provide your homeowner with a report to actually say that you've carried the test out, here's your evidence, here's your report, and it gives both you and that customer peace of mind that their warranty is going to be valid because you've taken this step.
That's cool. Just I don't know about you guys out there. I was just thinking about what Elliot's just said there. Again, I've been in the industry too long. No, love it very much still. But yeah, water quality testing that. Well, I'm just thinking about that now. You know, I probably didn't do water testing. No, I didn't, is the answer. I might have put some inhibitor into a system, put it into the expansion tank. That's how old I am. Left it in there, Elliot. Didn't even pull it through. You know, the naivety, guys, about water quality, when you think back. So look, we're going in the right direction by the look at it. So I'm liking this here, Elliot. So perhaps you could just give us an example. So if I'm testing the system, so say I'm a homeowner now, I've got my boilers packed up, okay? From an engineer's perspective now, Elliot, what would you suggest I do then? All I know is the boiler's not working. What would you suggest I do then?
First thing I would do, Cole, knowing the statistics and that, more often than not it's a sludge-related breakdown, you want to know if there's sludge in the system or not. So the first thing I would do when I walk through that door is get an analysis of what's going on inside. Take the ProCheck test. You know straight away if the system's brown and you know that there's a circulation problem or an overheat problem, straight away, more often than not, you're going to know the cause straight away.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a good point. So the ProCheck, you take a sample of water, and once you've taken that sample of water from the central part of the system, which is very easy to do through a radiator, we carry out the ProCheck. What does that actually give me at the end of it? So you've carried out this test, and what am I going to get back? Are you just going to tell me something, what's happened, or what do I get?
So there's two things, Cole. So, a lot of you at the moment may be doing inhibitor testing. You might, do a quick test and get a bit of an idea of what's going on. But the question comes of, how have you proven you've done that test? That's the key part. How have you proven to the homeowner, possibly proven to the boiler manufacturer if there's maybe a warranty dispute? And what you'll get is access to what we call the Sense portal, and what that'll give you is all of your tests you've ever done. You could pull up a test that you've done 5 years ago, Cole, and you'll be able to see the result. You can see the actual photo you've taken of the water, the inhibitor result, corrosion, pH result, all in one place. But also from the app, you can actually send your customer that test result on site while you're there. So, for example, if you're fitting a boiler today and you're leaving all of your paperwork at the end, you could actually follow that up with an email with the water test result there and then.
Oh, that's fantastic. That sounds straight away really efficient.
Yep.
I'm loving the idea of that. So, when we test water now, is that a regulation? Why you say, like you say, you said to me about why is water quality so important? Have I got to do these things? So,
funny you said that, Cole. There was a change to Part L last year, and some of you may know about this, some of you may not, but you should actually be testing for inhibitor and system cleanliness annually. So, ultimately, tying it in with the service would make sense. Every year on site, carry out the ProCheck result and just keep on top of it.
Actually, I'm thinking to myself now, Elliot, from my experience, and I'm loving this, because I'm thinking now, if I carry out that service and I carry out ProCheck and I've been able to produce a certification about the water quality, also linking to that really good point you made about the boiler manufacturers, they're going to love that because they can see this boiler's been serviced, maintained, and the water quality is in a good place.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm loving this, Elliot. Fantastic.
So the next step, Cole, obviously, we're going to know pretty quickly if this water's going to fail the test. If we take a sample from a radiator and it's brown or black, we're not going to waste a test strip. We're not going to add inhibitor. We obviously need to. Step 2 of the best practice, clean. So, Cole, how do we do that? What's our suggestion?
Clean a system. Well, I'll tell you, that's my little bit of a passion, I'm afraid. I love cleaning systems. I've got to get out more often. But hey, look, first of all, cleaning the system. Let's get the right cleaners in the system. So ADEY do a couple of cleaners here. We've got our MC3 Plus. Now, this will treat 125 litres of water or 15 radiators as a guide. You can get it in for up to 28 days before you maybe do your boiler change. Okay, so you get in the system, get it circulating, get it starting to break down the sludge,
yep.
Okay, which is going to cause that issue. We also do an MC5, which is our more concentrated clean, Elliot, which is for the Magna Cleanse. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Magna Cleanse in a moment. So MC5, again, you could use that as a clean. That can go in 7 days maximum beforehand if you can. Rule 1, guys, if the old boiler's working, get some cleaner in. Use it in the old system first, if you can. But Magna Cleanse is what we're going to use to clean the system. And I think really important, Elliot, that we remember the Magna Cleanse process is a process, okay? So once we've got our filter on the return, make sure we've always got our magnetic filter on the return, please, guys. The Magna Cleanse unit then can be easily placed where the filter was, and we can carry out the process. Okay?
Brilliant.
So Magna Cleanse itself allows you to flush the system, existing radiators, new radiators, getting all this black iron oxide out, getting the fluxes out. You're using heat, chemical, and then clean, fresh water, Elliot, to get this high-quality water. I think you mentioned earlier, our water quality is so important.
Sounds great. It sounds easy as well.
It's like everything, Elliot, in our game. I know engineers, if we do it properly, if we make sure we're efficient about what we're doing, Elliot, I think there's a process. It's not just whack it on, off we go and have a cup of tea in the fan. It's about following the process through, and I think it's really important we understand that as well.
Okay, no, brilliant stuff.
So if I clean the system, Elliot, and let's imagine now that obviously I've got the system in a good place, I've got the system full of clean, fresh water, obviously need to protect it. So you said it's test, clean. The next process is, sorry, what is?
Protect.
Protect, right. So how do I protect my system then, Elliot?
So obviously, just going back to our bread and butter, really, Colin, with a magnetic filter. So ensuring, again, going back to the Part L changes as well, it's now a requirement to ensure there's a filter fitted. So we would always advise an ADEY filter and dosing with MC1 Plus protector, and that will keep our system cleaner.
So with the protector, so I add this at the end of this end of this job,
yeah,
or top it up when I maybe. Does the ProCheck pick up the inhibitor level? It does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's even better. So when we add the protector, how much does this treat, Elliot?
So that will do your typical 15 single panel radiator system, 125 litres. That's actually around about 98% of domestic systems for one bottle. So right. it's more often than not, it's going to be one bottle.
Okay, cool. So look, protecting the system. Remember, we've tested, we've cleaned. We're now looking after that system. We're going to keep it in a good place. Just don't also forget you're at biocide. There's a lot of low temperature systems coming into our business now. You know, with heat pumps, underfloor heating, biocide MC10 plus, ADEY's MC10 plus should be considered and used in high and low temperature systems, guys, okay? So make sure you're aware of all of these things. So liking the idea that we tested, we've cleaned, we protected. What's the fourth procedure, Elliot?
So the last one is to maintain. So it's basically keeping on top of it. So with our standard filter range, obviously that's going to require an annual clean. So making sure that we're doing that usually in line with the boiler service. Making sure that we're using our ProCheck annually. One thing that we hear a lot about, Carl, is that it might be that you've got an installer that's done a brilliant job on the install, they've cleaned the system, they've put their inhibitor in, done everything right, but what's to stop that customer decorating the spare room, taking the radiator off the wall, draining all your inhibitor in? You know, it might be they don't put any in, or worst case, they put a cheap bottle in instead, and you know, you're back to square one. So by carrying out that test annually, it's ensuring that system is maintained and that you've covered your backside as well. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I think we've all been there, haven't we? You know, we get to the job, we're doing the boiler service, and the customer's more keen to show us what the rooms they've had decorated. You know, and absolutely, and again, you think about it, how often have we said, oh, that looks nice, and walked away? Hey, look, top it up with inhibitor, test it. Not rocket science, is that it?
Absolutely.
Now, we've got our filter. We must clean our filter, obviously, when we're servicing a boiler. But is there any way of monitoring Magtite levels?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mentioned briefly earlier about our Sense portal. So when the ProCheck tests are carried out, the results go onto a portal which is aligned with a certain property. If you felt a customer would benefit from remote monitoring, so as we know, it's the number one cause of boiler breakdown. So our Pro 3 filter will actually be able to detect that remotely, and it will link back to your Sense portal. So you'll have your ProCheck result and your live sludge levels on that same property as well. So if there is a problem, or you see that sludge levels have risen rapidly, you could actually then make contact with that customer, and it might need to be seen sooner. So a good example of that is what I mentioned earlier. Has the customer drained the system down? Have we seen that for whatever reason sludge levels are spiked? And it just allows for preventative maintenance. So rather than waiting for the thing to go wrong, you know, let's try and get in there and resolve the issue first.
Absolutely. And again, I suppose also, me just thinking out loud again, I suppose the elderly, the vulnerable guys, lots of customers on your books there, you know, they need the heat. They can't afford to have it break down, and suddenly something, like you say, picking up that the levels are rising means something's going on. Let's get there, let's deal with it before we come a £700 million unexpected bill again, which, exactly. You know, we don't want that. And I say that, you know, we've got to look after our customers, guys. At the end of the day, they pay our bills, so look after them. Let's get this best practice right, and let's, you know, keep them in a good place.
So we've given you really a very brief overview of the best practice. Obviously, the best way to to really get a good understanding, a thorough understanding, not only of the regulations, but the Magna Cleanse process, how to test the system. We really go into a lot of detail on our ADEY best practice training course. So you'll see that if you go onto ADEY.com, you'll see a tab for the Training Academy. Colin and I are obviously very passionate about training. Colin, what's your motto?
Oh yeah, so
You have to get it in.
Yeah, I'm going to get in. So look, obviously, you know, when you have a day out to do your training, you know, we're all frustrated sometimes about it, but trust me, learning is earning. Simple as that, guys. You cannot put a value to picking up and getting hints and tips that are going to save you time, but earn you money, more importantly, guys. So don't forget that when you come training, learning is earning.
Thank you very much, everyone. Colin, thanks for your time.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Keep safe.